Hello there! After many years of people requesting me to try out Inertia.js, I finally did. And let me tell you, this framework is a revolution. For some reason, I decided not to try it. Actually, I know why I didn't try it. It's because I was working primarily as a front-end developer. And as a front-end developer, I worked with Next.js, a Remix, React Router. All of those frameworks, they are kind of full stack. So I had access to the server. I was using full stack TypeScript on the backend, front end. So I didn't have a good excuse to use Inertia. I think the perfect use case for Inertia is if you're using batteries included and mature backend framework like Laravel, Django, Rails, Phoenix, something that is not TypeScript on the backend. If you're doing this and you want to use React on the front end, or Vue or Svelte, then Inertia is a revolution. Now, take a look at this homepage right here. What exactly is Inertia? Is it a framework? Is it a library? Inertia is just the glue code between your backend, your front end. It's something that you install once, you configure it, and you're done. You're going to use full-blown React, Vue, or Svelte on your front end. And here's the best part. You're going to build your backends just like you did before. You're going to have your controllers, you're going to query the database, trigger a background job, and then instead of returning HTML, you're going to return a React component. And then the final result is not a dead view. You're going to have a full-blown single-page app. Now let me show you. I'm using Inertia with Phoenix right now, right? So if you go on the main website, you can click on server side, and this is primarily for the Laravel developers, but we have community packages for other ecosystems. So where is the community resources here? Okay, click on community adapters. We have for every one of those frameworks here. And oh, by the way, if you want to use TypeScript on the backend and front end, you can use Adonis.js, and then you use the Adonis adapter for Inertia. This way you use Adonis on the backend and React on the front end. But mine is Phoenix. And yeah, we have this Phoenix adapter, which is maintained by the folks at Savicall. So yeah, Derek and the team behind Savicall, thank you so much for the amazing work. This is absolutely insane. So you can read the README here or click on the hex, but I think the README is more up to date. So here's what you're going to do. Just follow this tutorial right here. It's a bit big in my opinion, but it's worth it. And then you're gonna follow up this. And the only difference on my setup is that I wanted to use TypeScript, right? So every time that you see here, oh, create a file with a JSX extension, I just created with TSX, and it works out of the box because ESBuild supports TypeScript. So let me show you my code base real quick. I have this app called Threadit, and then I have my regular controllers on the lib folder. As you can see, I have Threadit web controllers, I have an auth controller, feed controller, but inside assets, first of all, you can see that I have a package.json, which is uncommon for a typical Elixir app. And check this out. I have 3 packages installed. 3. Okay, just 3. If you start a new Next.js or React Router application, you're gonna have like 10. So this is already amazing. And I have these 2 optional dev dependencies here for the types. And if you're new to Phoenix, you might be wondering, okay, wait, you're using Tailwind, but I'm not seeing Tailwind here. What's going on? That's because by default, Tailwind is managed by Elixir. The Elixir ecosystem have like a wrapper package for Tailwind and ESBuild. So if you open up the mix, I'm gonna scroll down. Where is it? I have, yeah, there we go. I have ESBuild and Tailwind installed on the Elixir side. not on the assets folder. And then there's also a script here, there you go, tailwind install if missing, and then esbuild install if missing. So you don't need to worry about the setup for the bundler, which is esbuild, and tailwind is already managed by Elixir. So let me go back. Now, if you open up my JS folder, I have like pretty much a regular React application here. I have components, super normal. I have my layouts. This is the layout for the authenticated pages. And then I have the pages. I have a login page, register page, and the feed, because this is going to be like a social media. And then let me show you where the magic happens. The magic is right here. I'm gonna open up the lib folder, go to controllers. So actually, no, I'm gonna show you the router first. This is my router. This is the public pages. Check this out. This is just a regular web application. There's no live view here. I am simply using get, post, the normal HTTP verbs. But for example, if I go to the get login, let me see what's going on here. Whoa, render inertia. Exactly. Instead of saying render and then having a hex file somewhere, I say render inertia and then followed by the name of the page. And then inside the JS pages, I need to have my React component that is going to be rendered by Phoenix. So let me start this server real quick for you to see what's going on. I have this alias. Okay, if I go to Chrome, why can't I access my localhost port 4000? Oh, there's a typo here. Localhost. Okay, session expired. Please log in again. This is my web app. And this is the login page, right? This is getting rendered by Phoenix. Now check this out. If you see this loading icon right here, you can see there's no full page refresh going on while I navigate between pages. And that's because I am returning a React component, which means that the final result that I have here is a single page app. There's no full page refresh. And as you can see on the code is pretty much the code you've always written before. The only difference is that you run render inertia instead of render. And you might be thinking, hold up, how do I pass variables to this page? Well, instead of saying assign, this is going to be used by your hex files, you're going to write assign prop. And then you name this whatever you want. So I'm gonna say random prop. This is a random prop. Nice. So in theory, I am passing this prop to my login page. How do I access this prop? Just like you always would in React. You define a prop here. I'm gonna say random prop. And then Phoenix, the inertia adapter for Phoenix is responsible for doing for camelizing the props, because on the back end I say random underscore prop, and then on the front end I say random prop with uppercase. This random prop is of type random prop, which is a string. So I can just add it here. So welcome to Reddit, to Threadit, then I'm gonna say random prop. Let's see if this works. Welcome to Threadit. This is a random prop. And I can change this to whatever I want, like a crazy number. There you go, welcome to Threadit. And then the prop that I got. Now here's where the magic happens, and in my opinion is the craziest part. Where's my fetch call? I'm not fetching this anywhere. Like, what's going on? How am I getting this from my Elixir controller? There's some magic going on under the hood, which completely removes the need for you to create like a REST API or GraphQL server. There's some glue under the hood that Inertia handles, and then on the front end, all you have to do is access the prop just like you would normally. And I'm gonna show you the network tab just so you can have a rough idea of what's going on. Let me refresh the page. No, this is not going to work. Actually, if I go to register, I'm gonna refresh here. And now I'm going to go to login. Okay, as you can see, under the hood, there is a fetch call. And if I open this, let me zoom in. This is what Inertia sends to your front end. As you can see, it is a fetch going on. It's throwing a get. We got a 200 OK back, and we got this object with clear history, component, props, URL, and then on these props, this is where we grab our props. You have a errors object in case there is an error. If you're doing a mutation like creating a user, this is where you receive your errors. You have a flash in case you want to show something on the screen. And then all the other props are inside this props object. So this is going on under the hood. You don't need to worry about that. This wiring is not managed by you. So actually, let me open up this again. I'm going to show you. If I am not authenticated, right? If I go to the main page, this requires authentication. And I'm throwing an error saying, hey, session expired. So if I click here, session expired, please log in again. For some reason, I'm not seeing this here, but it should be here. Let me show you the controller responsible for this. Actually, it's a plug. It's called ensure authenticated. And here's the magic thing. Like, this is a regular Phoenix application. I have my controller. I have a plug that runs every time there's a new request. And then I check the session. This is like a normal Phoenix application. There's no live WebSocket no, regular application. The only difference is that you're returning React instead of pure HTML. So this is a regular, I forgot the name, just a middleware that runs on every request, right? I try getting the session. If the session is new, then I put a flash that says session expired. I redirect to the login, and then I hot this middleware. And that's it. Like, this feels so good. So let me remove this random prop right here. I'm going to remove it here, and I'm going to show you something more cool now. Let me remove this random prop. What about mutations? If I go to create a new user, check this out. I'm going to type a wrong username. I cannot use spaces. Whoops. Then let me open up the network tab. If I click on register, whoops, can only contain letters, numbers, and underscores. Let me see the fetch that is going on under the hood. As you can see, inside props, I have an errors object, and then this errors object is perfectly mapped for each field that I have on my form. And you might be thinking, okay, where's this validation happening? Is it on the front end? Is it on the back end? Let's check it out. I am going to open my register React component. I am not receiving any props, right? I have a form right here. It's a regular HTML form. And then I have a submit function. The submit function prevents the default behavior. I check if the password here is equal to the confirm password. And then I do a post. That's it. The only validation that I'm doing on the front end is this one. I'm checking if the confirm password is equal to the password. That's it. And then I post here. Where's the fetch request? I mean, yeah, you can see that I'm doing a post, but there's no fetch, await, fetch, result, then result.json, and then decoding the JSON, and then checking the status. No, I'm just doing a post. And what about the errors? So if I'm not handling the errors on the front end, that means that I'm handling on the back end. So let's take a look at my auth controller again real quick. I have the login page. The register page is the same thing. I just render the register component, but I have a register here. And if I open my router to show again, I have the get register which renders the React component, but I have the post register, which is responsible for creating an account. So if I go back, check this out. I'm running this function, create user, with the params that I'm passing through the post request. If I receive an OK and user back, then I'm gonna say, whoa, account created successfully. I'm going to log in the user, adding the user ID to the session, and then redirecting it to the main feed. But if there's an error, check this out. I get the change set back, right? If I try to create a user, I just run assign errors, change set. That's it. I'm not manually saying, oh, if the username is this or that. No, I have my change set function. I assign errors on it. And yeah, of course, we can inspect this function. This function runs through the change set. We try to insert it. I have a handy function to hide the password. And then the validation happens on the change set, just like a normal backend app. The backend is responsible for validating all the fields. And then once this finishes running, if I receive any error, I grab the change set, I assign the errors, and I redirect to the same page. And then on the front end, I have this very useful and handy hook that comes from Inertia. It's called the use form. As you can see, I have like a head component to show SEO meta tags. I have the link component to navigate, and the use form hook. This use form hook has a bunch of useful information. You can do the post request. You can check if the form is processing or not. This is where you store your data, and you use the set data function to save it on the data object. And this is where the magic happens in terms of errors. If on the auth controller, I return a change set with these assign errors, then on the front end, I grab the errors here. And then look at this. I have the types for it as well. You can see that errors is like a partial record with username, password, and confirm password. So if you scroll down, I have my input for username. If I have any errors related to username, I show here. If I have any errors related to password, I show here. Errors related to confirm password. And the form itself is like a vanilla React. You know, you have your input. The value is just the value from the data. And then whenever this changes, you set the data. Super useful. And then once you submit the form, you don't even need to do something like this. Oh, submit, register, data. No, just say post register and it's done. Well, let me show you a successful register. I'm going to create a new username. Let me say random user. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? Let's click register. I receive, oh, you guys can see it. That's too bad. Like the toast message was showing, let me remove myself here. The toast message show here on top. I'm gonna say random user. There you go, welcome back. That's where you can find the toast message. But this is a custom component that I created. So if I go back, as you can see under the hood, I'm calling the login function. I got a 200 OK back. I got no errors, no flash. And then where's the response? Whoops, what am I doing? I receive, where's the redirect? There you go. Then I receive a 302 status back, and I got redirected to the main feed of the application. And to finish this video, I already showed the backend side, the front end side. What about testing? How can I test that? Let me show you. I have set test, threaded, web. Let me show you auth controller. Now, Inertia comes with a bunch of handy functions for testing as well. So inside my con case, all I have to do is import Inertia testing, and this is available on all of my tests. So if I try to filter this for Inertia, so I have the get login controller that I'm testing. I'm asserting that I got a 200 status code and that my component is the login. And then I also have the feed controller. Here I am checking if the get on the root is properly rendering the feed component. And check this out, I can even assert the props. I could say something like this, assert, I don't know, let me say user. Okay, the user should be this thing. It's coming from inertia props from the con. This is how you try to pattern match on the props that comes from inertia. But that's it. Like, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what it feels like to work with inertia. I have a single page app. I am able to reuse all of my knowledge related to React because 99% of my professional experience has been with React. So it's great. I can leverage the full power of Elixir on the backend, the full power of React on the front end. And some people on Twitter said, hey, Daniel, but what about Live View? And I love Live View. Live View is amazing. But here's the thing. I don't know Live View. I know just enough to build simple applications. So this side project, techschool.dev, it is using Live View. As you can see, I even have like a live counter here on the homepage. But this is a very simple web app. I'm just listing stuff, okay? I'm listing lessons. I am listing bootcamps. I am listing courses. Sure, I have some filters here, but like, it's super simple, you know? So this is the simplest use case for Live View, and I know how to do that. But how about managing forms and handling error states? How about live components? I don't know anything about live components, you know? And so if I had to build a web app today, I think I would go with Inertia because I already know React. But if I didn't know React, would I use Inertia? Probably not. I don't think so. If I was a super ninja Elixir developer, I think I would just go with Live View. And technically speaking, I think Live View is a superior alternative to React. But I already know React. It's just a matter of prioritizing what I already know. Like, I can come here and start building my web app without checking any documentation. I already know enough Elixir to build my backend. I know enough React to build my frontend, and that's it. I don't need to research anything. I don't need to spend my entire day on ChatGPT and reading the docs. No, I can just code because I already know enough. On Live View, not so much. So I love Live View, but I just don't know enough to build a complex web app. And right now I'm feeling a bit lazy to learn yet another framework. But that's it. I just wanted to show my newfound love for Inertia. If you like this type of content, let me know. I do have plans to publish some tutorials and maybe courses about Phoenix and LiveView, Phoenix and Inertia. Let me know if you're interested. That's it. See you next time.